Hello everyone, welcome to our virtual turkey tip line. Hard to believe the time has already come. It's here. I'm Mario Hilario along with Chef Frank Terranova. Hope you're joining us on Facebook Live or turn10.com, and we're here to answer some of your questions for the big day coming up in just a couple of days from now.
Actually, 2 more days.
Unbelievable, yeah. So post your questions live during here, and we also have some questions that were already posted previously, and we also put just some common questions up there, so maybe that will cover some of the questions you have. But we're going to start here, and we're going to look at Monica here. Do you recommend cooking a turkey in a bag?
That was really popular, Mario, several years ago. Then it kind of faded. Now it's moving back a little bit. The only problem is the turkey will steam because you're creating a moist environment. If you're looking for that Norman Rockwell turkey that's on the table, it's not going to work. You can steam it, or put it in the bag, but then try to cut the bag away, tuck it down, and then put it in the oven, high heat. This way, if you like that nice crisp skin. But you are going to definitely get it, without a doubt, you're going to get a moist turkey. But they pump these things up with so much salt today, unless it's a fresh turkey, you're going to have to do it, but it's not a problem. That's not my bag, but people use it, and if they're satisfied, as long as they like the skin crisp, so that's what you do at the end.
Yes, there you go. It's not your bag, but you can do it in a bag if you want, right? Let's see. Diane here says she has a 20-pound turkey and she stuffs it. What temperature and how long should she cook it?
All right, stuffing should not go in the turkey until that morning. People make a big mistake by putting it in overnight because the turkey gets the temperature of the stuffing gets so cold, you really have to get the heat to transmit because you're putting it in an insulation by being in the turkey. Generally what you do is 350 degrees always. That's generally the safe temperature. And when it's stuffed, you're looking at 16 to 18 minutes per pound. So just calculate those numbers.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, you always go into the stuffing. Stuffing has to be 165. The side of the thigh, where the drumstick comes on and meets the side, that has to be approximately 170, 175. And then, of course, the breast, if it all matches out, the breast will come out at 165. Don't start punching holes in it because you just got to calculate the time. We call time-weight ratio. 16 to 18 minutes a pound. Calculate on the 18 side.
Yeah.
And then, especially if it was a frozen turkey, that always takes a little bit longer to cook.
Yeah, all right. So it's really, it's down to a science.
I always stuff the turkey.
Yeah. So here's another question kind of related to that. Is it safe to cook the stuffing inside the turkey or outside?
Your preference. Generally, if you stuff the turkey, you're going to get a really tasty stuffing being inside the turkey. When you pull the stuffing out and put it into a dish, it's called a dressing. What you're doing is when you roast that turkey, it's very difficult to get all of that stuffing out of the bird to cut the turkey after, or even for leftovers. And sometimes it does make a little bit of a mess. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The turkey does take a little bit longer stuffed, and it's probably 3 to 4 minutes a pound quicker by doing it unstuffed.
Unstuffed.
Yes.
And you talked about this when you made a recipe on Studio 10. You made a dressing as opposed to a stuffing.
It's the same thing. If I took that same mixture and put it inside the turkey, now it becomes a stuffing.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, what's the safest way to deep fry a turkey? Also, how long does it take to defrost a turkey? All
right, the turkey's got to be out of the refrigerator. A lot of places say 5 minutes, They say 5 days, 1 pound, 5 pounds every single day. That doesn't work. I don't care what anybody tells you, it's not going to work. A frozen bird, you're going to need at least, in most cases, a 20-pound turkey is going to need about 5 to 6 days in the refrigerator. Always on the bottom of the refrigerator. And then, of course, I always love fried turkey. Fried turkey, you have to make sure it's completely thawed. You have to make sure it's, as the term they use, bone dry, because a lot of people, and it takes about 3 to 4 minutes to lower the turkey into the hot fat. Some people just let it go, and if it goes, that thing is going to boil over, and then you're going to run into a problem. You're going to not only mess your sidewalk up or where you're going in the driveway, and make sure you do not, under any circumstances, do it in the house or a garage. And always have even though I'm in the food business, I have a fire extinguisher behind my microwave on my stove, God forbid, in case something happens. You should always have an extinguisher with you.
Yeah, so you kind of do it gradually.
Exactly, you got to lower it down gradually. Yeah. But there's nothing like it.
I was going to say, in terms of personal preference.
Oh, Mario.
I've had to fried turkey before.
They're
I bet
delicious.
My brother-in-law has
They're
done it
delicious.
before. And I know you've done it. You used to do it live in our parking lot.
Yeah, we do it in the
remember?
parking lot. They throw the turkey away and just eat the skin.
Oh my gosh, it's so good, yeah. So there's definitely an option here.
Okay.
Next we have, how can I cook a turkey breast and keep it juicy? That's like the big, everyone hates that dry.
If you're cooking a whole turkey or if you're doing just a breast, you have to constantly baste. Actually, what a lot of people do now, if you get the turkey, make sure it's thawed, make some softened butter, herbs, you can put parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme, the traditional poultry seasoning, but in a fresh form. And then what you do is take your fingers, and where the breast starts, jiggle your fingers up along the breast, go down the back, and then wiggle your fingers along the side of the thigh. Then you take this butter and stick this butter in between the skin. Don't rip the skin. And then take your hand and rub the top of the skin of the turkey. And what you're doing is you're massaging it. You're forcing the butter all over the underneath. Yeah. And then any excess butter on your hand, just slap it on top of the turkey breast on the skin. Let me tell you, you're going to get not only a flavorful turkey, you're going to get a very moist turkey because that butter is basting that thing. There's not enough fat on the turkey to create that moisture.
That moisture, you
exactly.
have to create
Butter
it.
works.
Yeah. We have a question that was posted live from Gina. I'm using an electric roaster. What temperature should I cook it for and how long? It's a 20-pound bird.
Always at 350. Now, I don't know if this is a convection roaster or it's a still roaster. If it's a convection roaster, you can go about maybe 10 degrees cooler because you're rotating the air. I have double convection ovens at home, and I do it constantly at 350 degrees. If it browns a little bit too quick, I'll turn it down. Unstuffed, generally 12 to 16 minutes a pound. For stuffed, anywhere from 16 to 18, 19 minutes a pound.
Okay.
For that 20-pound turkey, you have to calculate the time and the weight.
Right, exactly. So I think you kind of answered this, but this is a question. How long and at what temp to cook a 13-pound turkey that's fresh, not frozen?
You're looking at the same. It doesn't make any difference. You're going to probably cut maybe 2 or 3 minutes per pound off if it's a fresh turkey. One thing I want to warn the viewers. If you buy a turkey and it has those pop-up timers, run the other way. Don't take it out of the turkey because it looks like a gigantic hole, and you're going to leach out a lot of juices. Leave it in there. Those things are preset to 180 degrees. So if that thing pops at 180, then you take it out and let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes. That's going to crawl up into about the 190 range, and there's where your turkey's going to get dry, especially the breast.
Yeah, you don't want that. Now, I think I asked you about this when we did our podcast, but how do you make fresh gravy from turkey drippings?
That's very difficult. I shouldn't say it's difficult, Mario. There's not enough flavor out of a single turkey to do it. I go to the store and I buy, there are some of the markets, you can find them. They have turkey backs, turkey necks, turkey wings. I buy 6 or 7 pieces, take them home, and what I do is I roast them until they're really, really brown, and then I make a stock. You need a turkey stock. And then that should be done. I'm doing mine tomorrow. And then you refrigerate overnight so all of that fat comes to the surface. The stock underneath should be very gelatinous. So it should be almost like Jell-O. And you know you did the stock right. Then you can peel that fat away. And technically, to make it really flavorful, you want to make a roux, which is fat and flour. And that's how you thicken up the juices. But there's not enough moisture in the turkey. Now, you get a turkey, they pump them up with so much sodium solution, anywhere from 8%, 20%. That water has to go somewhere when you're cooking the turkey. Now your pan's going to fill up. You're going to, oh boy, I got all this juice. All you have is salt water.
Oh, yes,
you're not going to have a true gravy.
Yeah. Dale is posting live. If you have a frozen turkey, when do you take the package off when you're defrosting it?
Well, first of all, you're not going to get the package out of it until it's completely thawed, because the neck is in the cavity, and when they take the turkey is compressed. So the drumstick and the thighs are compressed down, so it's tough to get that neck out. And then underneath the flap where the breastbone is, where the wishbone is, there's where they cut the giblets. They'll put the turkey, they'll put the heart, the gizzard, and they'll put the liver there. But basically, you want to get that neck out of there. So normally, today or tomorrow, they've got to put that turkey in a sink. They got to stand it upright and try to force, because they wire those legs. Some of the turkeys, they use plastic or they use wire. You got to get them separated, or you got to let water trickle in. You got to get that neck out of it. The neck is beautiful because that goes into part of making the gravy.
Okay.
Some people eat it, but I mean, normally I just roast it and just make gravy with it.
Oh, yeah. And this is always a debate in many households, the canned versus the fresh cranberry sauce. But do you have a good recipe for a fresh cranberry sauce?
It's so simple, it's unbelievable. First of all, just go get a pound of cranberries. You make sure you wash them. And I do this, I make it every year. My daughter just asks and asks for it, so I'll make it. And I'll just take and put the cranberries in a pan, about a half a cup of sugar, and I'll take an orange, and I'll grate the zest, because they like it orange flavored, and then about a half a cup of water. Put it on the stove and bring it up to a simmer. Now, when it starts to cook, you're going to hear them popping. You're going to hear the weird noise of what's happening. The cranberries are bursting. When the cranberries are bursting, it's shooting out its pectin. So at that point, you want to, till you get them all done, and then shut it off, and then refrigerate it. And it's not going to solidify. It's not going to be like that canned stuff. But, I mean, the fresh whole cranberry sauce, in my opinion, is delicious. Especially if you make a sandwich with it. It spreads. If you don't want the skins, then you're going to have to put it through a strainer, and you're going to have to push the cranberry through, and you get a very smooth texture. But if you don't mind the skins, they're not that bad.
Yeah, I think I've had it with...
But you can put orange and or lemon. You can actually put a little bit of, just a splash of port wine in there. I mean, you can get pretty exotic with this.
And people put walnut. I've had it with walnuts
Have
in
walnuts?
it too. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's any good, but...
Sounds good.
Yes. Oh, this is actually not a question, but a very astute statement. Keep Mario away from the turkey. There will be nothing left.
You know what they're doing? People are telling me they're covering the turkey. Somebody sent to me on Facebook a turkey was completely covered with braided bacon. You had to see this thing. I'm going, okay, that's not for me. I mean, not that I would eat it, but Mario, did you see that?
No, but I was going to ask you. Well, I always see memes and things on Facebook or Instagram with people do everything with bacon.
People buy bacon and they lay it out on parchment paper, and they braid it or they weave it.
Oh yeah, weave it,
and then
they put it on the.
Put it in the freezer. Let it get firm so it doesn't fall apart. Then just take it and drape it over the turkey, and
then you cook it with the bacon.
You cook it with the bacon. As the bacon shrinks and cooks, it just sucks onto the turkey, and there you go.
I have an idea.
Then you can eat bacon. There you go. Have
for
bacon.
Your next recipe.
There you go.
I think that's all the questions we have live and the ones that were submitted ahead of time. Do you have any just general advice for people in terms of cooking their meal?
First, the turkey should be out of the freezer by now. And under any circumstance, do not leave the turkey on the counter overnight. It'll work, but you're taking a chance. You can't. People ask that question. They leave it in the trunk of their car. They leave it on the porch. I put it in my garage. Well, that's definitely unsafe. You have to get that thing out of the freezer. Technically, like I said, some people I haven't seen too many gigantic birds this year. The biggest I've seen is maybe 20. I remember seeing 26, 28 pounders. Those things are gigantic. You don't really see too many. They didn't raise too many because since COVID, when they raised the birds, they had a tendency, they didn't want large groups. Well, maybe only in Rhode Island they said that, but they didn't want large groups to get together, so the big turkeys went sideways. But this year, they're in that, I've seen anywhere from 16 to 20 pound range. Yeah. And have a great time with it. I mean, you cook it correctly, baste it. You're going to do it, but like I said before, the best way to do it is to jiggle your fingers under that skin and then rub probably 2 sticks of butter, seasoned, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. All right. Chef Frank Terranova, as always, we appreciate your advice.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone who sent questions in. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy the day.
Yes, and may your day be filled with lots of